Hi there, my name's Dan Mersh and I play the Empire soldier Markus Kruber in Vermintide. I work mostly in comedy. I'm part of a three-man comedy team called The Trap. We're performing at the Camden Fringe this August in London. I was in the film Alan Partridge, Alpha Papa with Steve Coogan. I played the police sergeant in that. And lots of TV comedy over the years. I can next be seen in The Death of Stalin, which is Armando Iannucci's film coming out towards the end of 2017. I also do a lot of other video games as well. Probably most notably, I play El Presidente in the game Tropico 5. So you can hear my marvellous South American accent, which is, of course, perfect. Well, I considered what Marcus had been through, really, that he's a very battle scarred man, and he's seen some horrendous things. So I wanted to get some of that kind of weariness into his voice, and that kind of the weight of the world hanging on him, But he's very tough. I wanted him to have like a real edge to his voice, particularly when he lets rip, and properly goes for it. I wanted it to be a voice that was commanding and had some real strength behind it. Well, as I say, he's a very tough guy. He's lived a very difficult life and has had to be strong. And as I say, he's very battle scarred and hardened by the life he's lived. He's not a very trustful guy, particularly when it comes to magic. So there's a certain kind of wariness to allow new people in. I think that's generally a thing with him, that he has a wall up. That he's not an easily approachable man, let's say. I don't think I have a particular line that comes to mind, but I did very much enjoy playing him drunk. That was very good to finally get Marcus drunk and let him let his guard down a little bit and just let him have a nice time. He has such a hard time of it, and he's lived such a difficult life. It was nice to just let him have a nice time for once, and he was fun to play drunk. I think Marcus would have a lot of trouble with the modern world. I think, particularly with his distrust of magic, I think he'd see a world of mobile phones and computers and video games as a sort of weird form of magic, and I think he'd be very confused and a little bit alarmed by it all. Although I would quite like to see him playing Vermintide. I think I think the controller would get thrown across the room on a number of occasions. I can sort of picture game over. What do you mean game over? I'll tell you when it's game over, not you don't tell me. God, stupid thing. I can picture that. I think just keeping it real, making sure it's true, because you're working in a sound booth, and you're having to sort of place your mind in the middle of a battlefield or in the middle of a forest or anywhere, and so it's making sure that you get that truth across, and that you're constantly being true to the character and very real with it. I'd say using your imagination and properly expressing what the character is feeling. Also, I'd say just physically the most challenging thing is dying. Because when you die in a video game, obviously you have to get across what that sounds like, and it's physically very challenging. It's we record, and I throw myself around. If I'm going into battle, I'm flailing around and really physicalizing the character. And so when I'm dying, I'm really screaming and I'm really falling on the floor and throwing myself around. So that can be quite tiring, if I'm honest. Well, I would say don't see it as a different form of acting. It's it's exactly the same as any other acting. If you can physicalize it, you should. You can see great videos on the internet. There's a terrific one of Hugh Jackman doing running as Wolverine in the film Logan, and he's really going for it. Sweat coming off him and this intensity in his face, and that's really it. It's you need to give it your all as much as you would with any other acting role. It's very much it's the same thing. I've played video games for most of my life, and I've heard the quality of acting in video games just get better and better over time. So I think the fact that everyone else is raising their game, I think makes you raise your game, and I think the different approaches to the way you record video games as well. I mean, I think probably in the olden days people would just sit in front of a microphone and just do the lines, whereas now, thanks to the wonderful Mark, who's the voice director of Vermintide, we have headsets and we have a room and we're standing and we can move around, and it's a very different thing. Certainly I've known a lot of voice actors over the years. The particular one comes to mind, Rupert Dagus, who is a tremendous voice actor, a very, very good mimic, very, very good with accents, and I've known him for 15, 20 years. And just talking to him about voice acting and his approaches has been was always very inspirational to me, because he's a man who really, really goes for it. But most voice actors do. It's like I say, it's the same as any other form of acting, really. Well, I mean, what else can you say? They're some of the finest human beings who've ever walked the planet Earth, I would think. They're absolutely wonderful people. No, they're great to work with. They're very collaborative, which is terrific, because obviously they know the character of Markus better than anyone. So it's great to talk to them about what he's feeling and where he is in himself, and what he's doing, and his relationships to the other characters. So yeah, it's a wonderful collaborative effort, and when we're recording the dialogue, they're constantly sort of talking me through it and talking me through where he is, and without that it wouldn't be the game it is. Cheers.